So we're in season 4. This is episode 8, Too Far Gone. Okay, so we just learned all about the governor and everything in the last 2 episodes.
Yes.
And what he's been doing, and he wants to take the prison for his new group that he is now leading.
Yes.
And so that kind of sets up where we are. Okay, so he takes Herschel and Michonne prisoner, and that's literally how the episode opens.
Yeah, it's interspersed between him giving a speech
monologue.
to these new people he's leading and saying we need to take the prison and saying, they're the bad guys. They destroyed the community me and Martinez were in before, and they have this prison, and if we stay here, we'll die, but if we take the prison, we'll be safe, and we can live there for a long time.
He's framing himself as the good guy, the hero, as these guys destroyed us, but we can conquer them.
Mm-hmm. And then it's interspersed between that, and then Herschel and Michonne are taking walker bodies out from the previous few episodes from their perspective, which are several episodes ago in the season, but from all the... pretty much everyone in the prison except for the main characters is dead now.
Right, all the people that were not of consequence.
I guess we'll have to see when we get to that part. I feel like when the prison is attacked, maybe there's a couple of them, but I'm not sure. I think there might be a few other people.
Yeah, because essentially this is all the people from Woodbury that decided to join them in the prison, and then they got that plague and they just all died.
Yeah.
I think it should be called the Woodbury Plague.
That would be good, yeah.
So they're taking them out to this field outside of the prison, outside of the gates, to burn their bodies. And you love this.
Yeah, okay. So this means that Herschel and Michonne would not have been captured. At least it's less likely they would have been captured if it weren't for the main characters and their pronounced sexual obsession with burning bodies. Because they're taking these walker bodies out, it looks like quite a ways from the prison, and piling them up and burning them, and they're using gasoline, which you really can't think of anything better to do with it. You
could probably use that for something.
You really have such an abundance of fuel
for half a minute, you would probably realize that's a resource that you need.
Yeah. They have an obsession with burning bodies.
And there's been nothing...
There's nothing to suggest that that's a good idea. Right. There's nothing to suggest that that's actually necessary.
That's better in some way.
They have this idea, we got to burn bodies because that's sort of like a plague trope. That's something, it's something people have done historically during times of plague, is you burn the bodies to prevent the sickness from spreading and just to prevent the bodies from rotting in the streets and, to just prevent
we know
other
that
infections.
Everyone has the sickness. So there's literally no good reason why they would do this.
The only way it would maybe kind of make sense is if you were trapped somewhere. If they couldn't leave the prison grounds or something, and they had a ton of dead people, Okay. And even then, but you could take them out into the yard and burn them or something, and it would just to prevent the rotting bodies from spreading disease, in a cramped area. It would kind of make sense. You could still probably figure out something less wasteful to do, But in this case, they're just taking them, outside the fence. It looks like it's a little ways, and at that point, it just does not make sense. You could just drag them out and just pile them up somewhere, and it really doesn't matter. It's not going to help you to burn them. It's not going to hurt you to just get them out of the way and leave them to decompose. Yeah.
And, okay, so this part kind of bugs me. Michonne is walking back to their truck, and, Michonne's supposed to be this, badass that, she cuts Walker's jaws and arms off, and she's queen of the walkers, essentially.
Yeah.
Right now. And, the governor just comes out from behind this tree that is split, you can see between the two trunks of this tree easily and just like hits her with his gun. And
Just
knocks
clubs her in
out.
the face,
Yeah.
just walks
He's
up
like,
right in front of her, just like emerges from behind the tree.
Right. And like
Says, surprise, motherfucker, and hits her in the face.
But like, yeah, she showed like no indication
Yeah.
that she was surprised, which like she should have seen him. Like you can see between the fucking trunks of this tree, like it like splits off into
It's
a
not
Y.
like it's an amazing hiding place.
Right,
Or, yeah,
right.
you know.
It's not like he like was like in the tree and like
Left
ambushed
down,
them from
yeah.
a
It's not like he
top.
even
Like,
came from the side or behind. He just walked out right in front of her and hit her
Right.
in the face. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous considering she's supposed to be so aware of the situation,
Yes.
supposed to be
That's a good way to
so
say it.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. It's like I guess he is a master of disguise. Like he's a ninja and he
turtle.
just I never saw that movie, but I think you told me that's from Master of Disguise.
Yes,
Is that right?
yeah.
Okay, I never saw that, but yeah, it's just that seems a little implausible. It seems like they could have come up with something like,
A little better.
yeah, like I don't know, maybe he was hiding in the tree or something and leaps
Right.
down on top. I don't know, something. Yeah, that was just I feel like, and I don't think it's intentional, but I guess you could say maybe Michonne's like really let her guard down unwisely and is like really just not concerned
That's a good
at this point.
That's a good point. Like she's become too comfortable in the prison.
Yeah,
Like
and just does not think that any humans are going to be bothering them
Right.
anytime soon.
yeah, I mean
and
they
she-
do believe that the governor is just gone. Like
Yeah.
they have no reason to believe he's there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's prematurely let her guard down then.
Yeah. Yeah, just seems a little far-fetched.
Okay, so like after that all happens and he takes them hostage, then Lily is like, "Are you a bad guy?" And it's like bomb, like foreshadowing, like yes, he is indeed. But then he's like, "All I care about is you and Megan, and if you're breathing, and this is the good place for us, and they're bad people, and essentially."
Right.
And
yeah.
then, like, she sees, like, him hugging Megan, and it's actually kind of sweet because she's like, "My hands are all muddy," and he's like, "I don't care,"
Yeah.
and gives her a hug anyway. Like, this is his surrogate daughter, essentially. And, okay, so then Glenn and Maggie in the cell block.
Yeah, and then Glenn is recovering from the flu. Mm-hmm. And then...
Woodbury plague.
Yeah, and he's getting better, and then, let's see, and so then, like, Rick and Daryl.
Oh, so Sasha goes to Bob. And
I think that's after, or is it? Oh, I mean, anyway, yeah, like,
okay.
it might be the other way around, but yeah, like, Sasha and Bob.
Yeah,
Sasha's
and she's like, "You saved me. Now I was so sick I thought I was going to die. Now I get to feel the sun on my skin." And it's like, "I've been a vampire for 18 years.
Yeah.
I haven't felt the sun before."
Yeah. Yeah, she's very grateful and horny for Bob.
Yes.
And so then they're going to get together. Mm-hmm. And let's see, Rick is in the cell block, and Daryl comes up to him. Daryl's just kind of like bitching at Rick, saying, what was it? Saying like, "Oh, Michonne's, like, you don't believe Michonne's still alive, like, she's missing," and et cetera, et cetera. And I think they know that Michonne and Herschel are missing now. So Daryl's kind of having an attitude, kind of throwing a tantrum to Rick.
Par for like
Par for the course?
yeah, par for the course for Daryl.
Yeah. No, he's kind of a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, he's
kind
pretty
of
whiny.
Yeah. And then there, let's see, do you remember where they were going when Tyrese ran up to him?
They were going to find Tyrese
Okay.
for something.
Okay.
Like, I kind of feel like it was to tell him about
Maybe.
Carol.
Yeah, it might have been.
But
yeah.
like, I could be wrong.
No, I mean, it
And-
definitely might. Maybe Rick had changed his mind and was going to tell him.
Right.
Yeah, and so then he...
And then Tyrese is like, it can wait, look at this.
Yeah, he's like, come look at this, and then it's this rat that's been cut open and nailed and crucified to a board, like down in the bowels of the prison. And this is, I can never, okay, is Lizzie's the crazy one, I think?
It is Lizzie,
okay,
yeah.
Lizzie's the crazy one of the sisters. Lizzie and Mika.
She's the older one.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, but and Mika has to take care of her.
Right.
But yeah, like Lizzie believes that the walkers are still people.
And she's just kind of generally doing like
Yeah.
weird, morbid
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like because I mean, like the rat, like because she was feeding rats to the walkers, because she like likes the walkers,
Yeah.
because she identifies with them. But I think this was probably just her being weird and just killing this rat and just cutting, just because she's kind of crazy. I don't think it actually had anything to do with
feeding them.
with the walkers necessarily.
Okay.
I guess maybe she wanted to see if it became undead or something. But I think she was probably just killing it just because she's murderous,
And then they hear this big explosion.
Yeah, and so Tyrese, before that, Tyrese is like, look, this is who killed Karen and whoever that other guy was. Like we don't remember who that was, but I don't think it was anyone important.
Yeah.
And then Rick is like, no, it can't be the same person. And Tyrese is like, why not? And then they hear an explosion.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so like everyone's running outside the prison to see where this explosion is, and it's the governor, and he's on a tank, and he's like, Rick, come down here and talk to me right now, y'all. But like, I don't maybe it's a tactical decision that I don't understand, but like, he's preaching to his group that this is going to be our new home. We're going to be safe here. That we need to take this prison from them, but like with no bloodshed. Like we don't have to kill anyone because we're good guys. We're just going to take this, and this is going to be our new place. Let's bomb it. Let's explode it. Let's tear it apart. Let's demolish it. And this will be our safe haven. Like those don't line up. Those
and I remember
words and your actions are not matching, sir.
That's true. I remember when they begin their attack, they are destroying portions of the wall, and they're causing more collateral damage than they probably should. Yeah.
Which like ultimately is because he doesn't actually want to take the prison. He just wants to kill
Right.
Rick.
Yeah.
But like for the rest of his followers, like, wait,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And of course, the issue with this attack on the prison in this episode is that really with the tank, even if they have a limited supply of ammunition for the cannon, there's really no need for them to just like launch an all out attack. They could just use the cannon, like set up farther away, use the cannon on the tank, and just shell them until they surrender.
Yeah.
Or run away.
Yeah.
Like that would be the much more sensible way of going about this, is just lay siege to them from a safe distance.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, but they kind of do this thing where they just throw everything they have at them, and that doesn't work out. That doesn't end well.
Yeah.
But I guess the governor is unstable and not thinking things through as well as he should. And then I think everyone else with him is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
Miguel
he's gonna
Alvarez is kind of not the smartest guy.
He's going to become more unstable.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did misremember after, like, they all come out and everything, the governor does say that he just blew up this, like, outside guard tower because he doesn't want to put a hole in their new home.
Yeah.
And so I guess that...
Oh, no, go ahead.
That kind of makes a little more sense.
It does.
It was just, like, to get their attention, I guess. Like, we're here, motherfuckers.
It does. It does not make sense because I am 99% sure when they were down looking at the crucified rat on the board, like, I'm pretty sure they heard the explosion and then dust came down on them, as if the prison main structure had been shelled.
And in the footage, it did appear like it shook, and I
Yeah,
mean, that could have just been
it's
like an effect, you know. Like,
right. But no, it actually, I think that kind of, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, because if he blew up the guard tower, like they really, you know, they were like in the main prison, which they were, that really should not have, they should have just heard an explosion.
right.
And like, and that would have been it if it was just the guard tower, because they kind of made it seem like, but yeah, it was just a guard tower that he blew up. But yeah, so let's see. So then they go out, and the governor's there, and then
He puts like Herschel and Maggie and
Michonne, yeah,
on
because
their knees in the
he's like,
front.
Rick, parlay with me, bitch, and then Rick's like, I'm not in charge,
Right.
or
He's
I
like,
don't make decisions
decisions."
anymore. You know, like there's a council now, and then the governor's like, is Herschel on the council? What about Michonne? Yeah, and then he brings them out and gets them on their knees and is threatening to kill them, and the governor's saying, you gotta leave.
I liked our commentary though, where he's like, I don't make decisions anymore. I'm incompetent. It's like,
He's like,
we
I
have a
screwed everything
council.
up. They screw everything up now.
We're all incompetent.
Yeah, I think things just keep getting worse. I'm not sure any of us should be in
Can
charge.
we just join you? And the
The
governor's like,
He's like, sure, we're incompetent too.
like, how did any of us live this long?
All of us will be dead from incompetence soon enough.
Just
Except a
dumb
handful
luck.
of us who have plot armor, but all the rest of us.
Okay. This part's so funny. Okay, so Rick is like trying to talk to the governor's other people, and he's like, I fought him before, and I took in all of his friends.
Yeah,
they
they're
are
leaders
here.
now.
And
Yeah.
it's like, no, they're not. They're all dead.
I
Everyone
don't think
from
I'm
Woodbury,
forgetting.
I don't think so either. Everyone from
Yeah.
Woodbury is dead. And while this is going on, Daryl and like the rest of them are like behind a fence at the main body of the prison, and Daryl just like slowly rolls over this it's like an industrial
like a laundry cart?
basket. Yeah, on wheels, and like rolls it behind the wood so he can't see it. And in the cart, it's all their ammunition, all their guns, all their guns. And you had a good point. You're like, wait, was this inside at any point? Were they just letting it like out against
did they just
elements?
leave it? Did they just leave it outside? Did they bring this out? Yeah, because it kind of, because this was a surprise, and it didn't.
Right.
There was nothing to suggest that
they
they
to take
brought
out
it out.
all of their guns.
Yeah,
right.
like it seemed like they just had them all in this laundry cart, just like near the fence, just, you know, like I guess it's like the inner fence, but yeah,
Right.
just exposed to the elements. Like that, it's not great. You shouldn't do that.
And so the governor is essentially like, we can't live in peace. Like, this is gonna be our home.
You guys need to leave.
Yeah, until sunset to
Yeah.
get out of here. And while this is going on, we see Megan and Lily down by the river. So Megan and Lily did not come to the firing squad. And Lily's like playing in the dirt down by the riverbank and having I'm sorry, Megan, not Lily. Megan is playing down in the dirt by the river, just having a jolly old time. And Lily is sitting on top of the RV, and she sees a walker that starts to come across the river. And Megan's like, will you please come play with me? Will you come help me dig, Mama? And she's like, I'll be there in a minute. But she's watching this walker, seeing if it gets across the river. But like, okay, so while Megan is playing on her own, and she's like trying to move this like big sign that's
It's a
in the
big
dirt.
sign that says warning flash flood zone. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's trying to move it. And like she eventually does, and she's like, don't worry about it, I got it, like you don't need to come over. And Lily's like, okay, cool, I can stop being on guard, and I can stop being a mom altogether, and I can just
Yeah,
Like,
because she's
hang loose,
she's
like-
like, oh, because the walker like tries to cross the river, but then it keeps stumbling, and it's getting
That's
swept
right,
away
that's
by.
right.
So she's like, oh, okay, because she like got her pistol out, and she was like, oh no, like I gotta, she's like focused on that walker.
Yeah. But under this sign that
Right.
she moved from a flash flood, there is a walker under the dirt, and she reaches up and she bites Megan.
Yeah.
And like Lily is actually absurdly far away.
She's like, I don't know, 30 feet away or something.
And on top of the RV. So she has to like get off the RV and run over there. And by the time she gets over there, like Megan's already bitten.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and she's a terrible mother. This is terrible. She's not protecting her at all. She's
No.
like, I'm on top of this RV
Yeah.
and I'm looking around for walkers. And it's like, you should just go over. There's no one else you're watching.
Right.
Like, just go over and like sit close to her. Cause cause like in this situation, I mean, it was under the ground, but a walker could have just come out of the woods. It could, something
Right.
something could have easily happened other than what did happen.
right.
And it's not like you would see walkers coming from.
Even if
It's not like in this specific situation. Yeah, you don't need
the height.
to be high up and really just surveilling the distance.
Right. And yeah, and so then she decides to just pick up Megan and decides to walk to
Yeah,
where the
and
governor is.
I guess Megan. I don't know. Did we see her? I guess
No,
she was alive
yeah, we
when.
didn't see
so I
her
guess I don't
die.
know if she's unconscious when
I
she
guess
or
that's
dead, or
fair.
if she just
Because-
died
Yeah.
from blood loss.
Yeah,
by
because
the time
by the time they get there, she's dead or unconscious
Yeah.
in Lily's arms. But that indicates that they're close enough that she could walk there. But like we don't hear when we see the scenes of Megan and Lily, like we don't hear everything else going on.
That's true.
So I find that a little peculiar.
Yeah, it's kind of convenient just so they can
Yes.
have the dramatic scene.
So back at the prison. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say back at the prison. So let's see. So then Rick is like, he's just saying like, please just come in here and live with us. And I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Rick would have, like, I don't believe that. He would have just tried to kill the governor, like at some point in the future. I don't
Right.
think he actually would have been willing to live with them.
Yeah,
but,
he's like, you'll have to take it from us by force, and either we can all live here or none of us can live here. And if you keep firing, it's going to draw more walkers.
And they both just keep making the same threats to each other. Like,
Yes.
they're both like, we need this for ourselves. Like, we're going to fight you to take it. And then the other one's like, we need this for ourselves. We're going to fight. It's just like, okay. They're just kind of, they both keep making the same, they're both saying the same thing to each other. And
Rick and the governor are oddly similar characters.
no, they are similar.
But you were saying, okay, because the governor's like, if I keep shooting, they're gonna that more walkers are gonna come.
They'll tear down the they'll tear down the fences and because I think was Rick. I think Rick was saying like this place is useless without the fences,
Right,
which
yes.
is not true, because you could always just put fences back up, like you could always clear out the, and it's like I don't know.
And it's still like a solid structure. Like,
Oh yeah, no, it's like it's still that's the primary attraction
Right.
is that it's fortified. And it's not like they're growing that much in the yard.
Right.
Like they probably would have in the future, but they just had like that tiny little like farm or
they
little
keep
garden.
killing pigs.
Yeah, Rick's like, I've changed. I killed pigs, but I didn't want to kill the pigs, but I had to. And you just let's see. So then.
Oh, but okay. So you're saying
Oh,
they should
yeah.
reinforce the wall,
The fences, because the fences, I mean, the walkers can pull down those fences really easily. Like, it doesn't require that many of them. Like in the flu arc, they went to just kind of built up and pulled down the fences. So, and they did just get over that, and maybe they would have at some point in the future, but the people living in the prison really should have been planning on erecting walls where the fences are, like replacing those fences, because they really don't offer that much protection. Like
No,
they should have
really don't.
they should have been planning to get wood and build wooden walls at some point, you know, like as a permanent, if they were going to stay there for a while. Yeah, so then
Okay, so Rick is like, we can live in peace. Like, if you walk through those gates, like all is forgiven. We can be together. And
I just think it's funny. Miguel Alvarez at one point is like, he's like, what we want is what you got, asshole. Get out, which I think is funny because yeah, it's like, oh my god, we're just talking about
Right,
this.
like,
Get
we got
out.
it.
It's like
we got it.
we
Thank
want
you.
this prison. We don't want you here. Get out.
Right.
But anyway,
And so at this point, the governor has
Michonne's sword.
to Herschel's neck.
And okay, I don't think threatening to kill the world's oldest man, as far as we know, and
Right.
like in this at this time and
The
place.
oldest man alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really the most dramatic threat, because Herschel could easily just die of natural causes
Like,
while they're
waiting.
having this conversation.
And just falling onto the sword.
Yeah.
Okay, so then like the governor is like lowering the sword, making it look like he's actually thinking
Yeah.
about it. And
Oh, because Rick is like, we're not too far gone. Like, we
Right,
can come back
right.
from this.
And then he just like swings it up and
And he says, liar.
Right,
And then he
yes.
then he
And
cuts half of Herschel's
half of
neck.
it, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't fully decapitate him. He just like kills him, makes him nearly headless Herschel, or halfway headless Herschel.
yes, half headless Herschel.
Half headless Herschel.
And so that starts a firefight, and like
Yeah, then they all
Maggie
just
and
start-
Beth are like,
They're like, "Ah!" Yeah.
while they're firing, and I just am so glad that Beth didn't start singing at this point.
Yes. She's like, I know what'll make everybody happy and peaceful. I'll sing a song.
It'll make them go away.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
all
like,
commit
it'll
suicide.
make us go away.
Like everyone commits suicide rather than listen to her song.
And okay, so like while this is happening, the governor sees.
So like, yeah, so then they're shooting at each other, and then the governor weirdly takes, like, as they're all firing at each other, he weirdly takes the time to fully decapitate already dead Herschel.
Yes.
He really seems to hate Herschel.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like unfocused. Like
Right, when they
apparently
show
that's
the,
too gruesome.
yeah.
Too
Uh-huh. It's like we can show walkers who are like falling apart and have pieces of them missing and are covered in blood, but
a
we can't
headless
show a
character
headless. Yeah.
that people have grown to love. Just
Well,
kidding.
yeah. Okay. I was gonna say not me, but he's not as bad as Dale. But I do
Yeah,
find
I know.
Herschel kind of.
You really hate Dale.
I do. Oh yeah, Dale is much worse than Herschel. Herschel's like okay, he's just kind of annoying sometimes.
So he finishes decapitating him, and then he sees Lily holding Megan.
Yeah.
And this is where Megan's either like dead or unconscious or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes over and he like takes Megan from Lily's arms and shoots her in the head.
Yeah.
So she can't reanimate. Mm-hmm. And then he like goes.
And he's like, kill them all.
right.
And then they
he
all.
goes fully insane.
Yeah. And so then Miguel takes the tank and crashes through the outer fences, and they're all just fully attacking the prison. Which again, I mean, and it's just because I'm sure it's just because Miguel is stupid, but like you really should not. That's the only way the governor's people could lose in that situation is if they take the tank right up close to the prison. It's like, well, then they can destroy it. Like as is, if they had just used the tank, they would have been able to take the prison very easily.
Well, and we think that it would have been better with like, okay, so like he lowered the sword from Herschel's neck, and then in the original he says liar, and then makes him half-headed Herschel. But like if he lowered it and then saw Lily carrying Megan, that would have made his insanity
I think so.
better.
Yeah, and so
More
like,
reasonable.
and when we were just talking about like when Megan was bitten, okay, what if instead of her and Lily being back at their original camp, what if like the non-combatants were just kind of like a safe distance, but they were closer to their army? And then what if she's bitten in that situation when like the governor is not that far away, and so it's kind of like more his fault because like
that's a
he
good
he
idea.
was more like he was like going after revenge instead of protecting her. Like I don't know. What do
a
you
good idea.
think?
I like that.
Thank you, because
It makes more sense.
Thank you, because as it stands, it's like it's really just Lily's fault. I mean,
Right.
and because like what happens in a moment, like she seems to blame him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean,
For not being, like,
yeah,
not
it's like
being
for
there,
not
right?
being there, and it's like, but you were there,
Right.
You were
You were
armed.
just a bad
It was a
mom.
single walker. Like you could have protected her.
If you were just closer. If when she asked you to come help her dig, if you went and helped her instead
Right.
of watching a walker cross the river.
It's like you shouldn't have even maybe been like over in this muddy, weird
Right.
like riverbank anyway. You should have just been like somewhere a little safer because like you're on the verge of getting a safe place to live.
Right.
Like just play it safe for the moment. Anyway, but I think maybe something like that where like and then like before the battle or something, Lily could be like, what if something happened, to the governor, she's like, what if something happens, like won't you just protect us please? And he's like, I have to do this, or and it's
Right.
something where like you kind of make it clear that he is prioritizing his
Taking the
revenge
prison. Yeah.
over, like I feel like that would kind of make it more. It would just as it is, I feel like it's kind of like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah. Those
Like,
seem unrelated.
it just kind of. I feel like this would tie together better, and and then what we were saying, that it would have been better if Lily walks up with dead Megan, like right at the pivotal moment,
Right. And that's what
and
sets
that's like
him
that's
over.
what makes the governor just lose it and attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, make it where it's like that would be more tragic, that would be more interesting than him just
I agree.
I don't know, just wanting revenge, just like just not trusting Rick, just I think that would have been more interesting.
I agree.
Thank you. So then Lily shows up with Megan, and the governor shoots her, and they're all attacking the prison. And among other things, Sasha has a very good recovery here because she was like still kind of sick before.
Right. Like earlier when she was saying to Bob, like, I get to feel the sun on my skin again. She like tried to walk outside and like couldn't get very far, and Bob was like, you're not strong enough yet.
Yeah. But she's fine. She's running around and
Right.
shooting, and
Right, during
she's
the
with
battle.
Maggie and
Bob.
Maggie and Bob, yeah, huh? And Maggie is like, have you seen Beth? And it's like, we're not
I'm not her
keeping track.
fucking
It's like
keeper.
you're responsible for Beth. Like we are not keeping track of Beth at all
Listen,
times.
I know we weren't around for the suicide, but we promoted it, and you did not, so you're her keeper, not us.
Wait, who promoted it? Wait. Bob and Sasha are
Yeah, I
saying
know.
that?
Yeah, like they're saying like we weren't around, but but we're for it.
Oh, we're for
We're
it. Okay.
for it.
Okay. I thought you were
Sorry.
saying they. No. That's okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, and then.
Because they're like, this is a bunch of them are getting on a bus to leave.
Right. They're like
And-
getting the non-combatants
Yeah.
from the prison.
Yeah.
It's like a couple. There's like a handful of random people who we do not know who the hell these people are, but
Right.
like from the prison, so
From Woodbury.
probably yeah. I mean, because we don't even know for sure that they're from Woodbury, because they could just like there were other people like Bob who they
picked up along
found
the
elsewhere,
way.
like
Yeah,
in
that's
the
true.
in the interim, but yeah, they probably some of them from Woodbury. So at this point, there might be a couple of them left.
So, and we see, I don't remember who it is, but someone's carrying the baby carrier with presumably
Yeah,
Judith.
with Judith. Yeah, and they're like, I think they're gonna try to get her on the bus, but then we don't, then we don't see what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Maggie puts Glenn on the bus because he's still too sick to really
Right.
do anything. So she puts him on the bus.
And she
The
goes
bus
to
drives
find-
away.
Yeah. Maggie goes to find Beth, and the bus drives away.
Yeah.
And the governor's on top of Rick, strangling
Yeah.
him.
He's just been like, it goes on for quite a while. He's just beating Rick, completely senseless. Rick has absolutely no chance. He's just getting his ass kicked, and then then the governor's strangling Rick,
And then
about to kill him, and then Michonne stabs him through the
badass
back.
Michonne,
Yeah. So then they get away. The governor's still alive. He's just badly wounded.
So, and like during this entire time, Miguel Alvarez has just continued to roll the tank.
Yeah, like right up to the
up
gates
to-
of the
right,
right up to
like-
the front of the prison.
Right. And decides to blow up the
Bridge, like one of the walkways. Yeah, I was like, okay, that's totally. There wasn't anyone on it or anything. It's not like there was. He's just like, well, okay.
Yeah, like I hate that walkway. and then Daryl like runs over and puts a grenade in the
barrel of the tank. And then Miguel's like, a grenade, and he gets out and runs away, and the tank blows up,
Right.
and then Daryl shoots him anyway.
Bye bye, Miguel.
But it's very convenient that Daryl was able to do that when in reality it's very unlikely that
There's got to be safeguards.
it's
in
very
place.
unlikely there wouldn't be countermeasures to
Yeah.
prevent somebody from doing that.
Like you were saying, like a one-way valve of
Right.
some sort, where like ammunition can go out, but it can't
Right.
go in.
Exactly.
And even if it blew up just the barrel, that wouldn't be nearly as disastrous
No,
as the whole
no.
tank.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very unlikely that it could get into the compartment
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And okay, what happens after that?
So let's see.
And then, so basically everyone is.
I wanted to talk about because that reminded me what happened. So Tyrese is like, as they're coming through the fences and stuff. He's exchanging fire with them, and he keeps taking cover behind these like really
Poles,
narrow
wooden posts.
posts that are on, I don't know. I think it was one of these like weird little like stalls that they had where they would cook food and stuff,
it's,
because
like, over by
they
the
built some
water
little
supply.
built some little structures where they would like cook food, and they would do stuff in the near the prison. And so he's just taking cover. At first he's not even really, he's just like next to it, but then he's like he's behind these little tiny poles, and he's like 4 times as wide.
I was gonna say 4 times, yeah.
And he for some reason he's just like, he thinks he's
"Ha ha, you
fine.
can't get me."
Yeah, he thinks he's fine as long as they can't shoot him right in the middle of his body. And so then
That was funny.
thank you. At one point he's going to be killed by, let's see, who was it? It was Tara's lover.
Yeah.
And there was somebody else, but I can't remember who it was. Like he's going to be killed, and then because Lizzie, and there were a couple of other kids, Lizzie, Mika, and then like 2 other kids, who were like, we got to get to safety, and Lizzie says, no,
We
Carol
have to be
Carol taught us
strong."
to be strong. We have we have guns. We have to go fight. And so then Lizzie saves Tyrese by killing these governor allied people.
And then later, like Lizzie and Mika are with Tyrese, so that makes
Right,
sense.
yeah. So yeah, they.
Wow, that sounds kind of bad.
it does.
Like,
Sounds kind of perverted.
like
yeah.
not in a perverted way, you weirdos. Stop it.
Let's see. Yeah. So then, oh no, go ahead.
I mean, essentially, like that's kind of the end of it, and then Rick is stumbling around. Is like Carl.
Yeah, he's looking for Carl. Oh, so I think it was a little. Yeah, Lily. So the governor is on the ground, and he's been impaled, and he's still alive. And then Lily comes up and very dramatically shoots him in the face. Right. And then a walker steps on the somehow the the White King from the chess set
Yeah.
that Megan drew the eye patch on in, I think it was the previous episode. Like, so somehow that's on the battlefield. Like, I guess
Right.
he brought it with. I mean, like, I guess somehow that's there, and a walker dramatically steps on it
Showing
to signify that
the
he's
taking
his
down of the
fall,
king.
and he's
Yeah.
he's dead, and I do think that they could have done a much better job of making the Lily, Governor, Megan story in this episode make more sense. Because here it's like Lily seems to blame him for Megan's death.
Right, but
And it's like, I mean, you could kind of say that, but at the same time, it's like you could kind of say it's indirectly his fault, but it's directly Lily's fault because she was right there and she was the one actually watching Megan, and she had the gun, and she, it's like,
and I also think that like if she blames him for Megan getting bit and like dying, then she should have let the governor be eaten by walkers.
yeah.
Because there's like walkers.
Well, yeah,
like 10
there's
feet
there's
away.
tons of they're all streaming,
They're-
and
yeah,
at this
they're-
point,
they're
there's
just
a
swarming
lot
the
of them.
prison.
Oh yeah,
And
And,
so that's the end of the governor.
yeah, So he's dead. He's dead. I think I mean, I do like the character on the show, but I think they could have done a better job. I think they kind of neutered some aspects of that character and the plot in seasons 3 and 4 compared to what happens in the comics and the novels. So, okay, let's talk about Judith. Oh no, go ahead. Was there?
Well, really quick, I
something?
was just gonna say like Rick does find Carl,
You're right.
and
yeah.
then they find the car seat.
Yes, yeah,
And there's-
which has blood in it.
Yeah.
And given that, I mean, spoiler, like everyone knows, Judith did not die.
Right.
They assume Judith is dead because they find like the car seat, the baby carrier, and it has quite a bit of blood in it. And so obviously they assume Walker's got her.
And
but
then Carl just like starts shooting walkers,
Right,
like, until he's out of ammunition and continues to try to shoot because he's just kind of having a breakdown.
oh yeah. But it's like really considering that Judith is fine. It's like, where did that blood come from?
I mean, I would imagine that it's like Walker blood from another one that
I mean,
was
yes,
shot nearby.
that sure
or
is
something
convenient
like
because it's
that.
only like it's only where the baby would be.
Okay.
Like it's very. I mean, yes, it's a walker. It's very like,
maybe
oh, okay,
someone
that's
was
convenient.
trying to steal Judith, and so they intentionally put it there so that Rick and Carl would think that.
Maybe because I don't remember exactly.
I don't either. Who has her?
Right. We'll have to
mean,
see because I remember like when they
I do
find her.
remember. I think I do
Wait,
remember.
it's
I think
not Carol.
I think it's Tyrese.
Tyrese, because they have. I think you're right. I think they have Judith when they're like in the cabin.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think they do. So it was either Carol or because like when we last saw Tyrese, like he didn't have her. So, but I
Right.
mean, it might be him. Yeah,
Because Carol's not back yet.
she's not. Yeah. And I don't remember exactly how they
She
like
just like
meet
stumbles
up.
into Tyrese in the woods. I think.
Okay, that definitely could be.
Very coincidental.
So what do you think about Judith? Because in the comics and the books, which are the same universe,
Right.
Judith, so Lori is alive at this point,
Right. She did not die during childbirth.
Right, and she's fleeing, right? She's carrying Judith, and then some of the governor's soldiers. I can't remember. I think it was Lily from the comic. I think
yes.
she,
which is a different Lily.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. He's like, shoot her.
Right. I think she does not she doesn't realize
That
this
Judith
person
is
has a
there.
baby,
Right. So-
but and then that's what causes her to kill the governor, because she's
like, you made me kill a baby.
she realizes, oh shit.
Because Lily from that that Lily, she
had a
recently had a
miscarriage,
miscarriage.
yes.
So yeah, she's like extra sensitive about it.
Yes. So what are your thoughts about? And then of course in the TV series, Judith is alive and Lori
Right.
is already dead.
Right. So I mean, I think that gives more reason for Lily to kill the governor. I was very shocked when we were reading those books to hear that because it is so different from the show, and I'd seen the show before. I mean, I kind of like that Laurie's not around. So
yeah, Laurie's kind of
I'm
annoying.
a little partial to to saying the show because Laurie hasn't been here this whole time. But I do think that was interesting. I mean, okay, I'm just thinking that they very rarely show children walkers on the show. They wouldn't even show Herschel decapitated in focus.
Oh, sure.
There's no way they would have shown Judith dying.
But you're right. You're right. They could have. I do think. It could have happened though. You're right. They would not have shown it in any kind of graphic way. But I do think it could have happened. Because just for example, let's say that Judith was dead in this episode, and we just see the bloody car seat.
That's true.
And,
That's
you know,
true.
it's that could have that could have been the case.
There's some kind of not graphic but suggestive stuff that happens with Mika and Lizzie later. You don't remember? That's okay.
Wait, you mean when Lizzie kills Mika?
Yes, but then Carol kills Lizzie.
Oh, okay. But you just mean them dying, as children.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, exactly what I mean.
Okay.
Dying as children.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is different when it's a baby, but I know, but you're right. You're right. Well, so no, I think they absolutely could have done that, but I think it's much worse that those things don't happen in the TV series because it just, like a lot of the plot lines from this general part of the story in the comics and the books, I think they just took a lot of things out that ultimately weakened the emotion of and the significance of the things that are happening in the TV series. I think they just kind of cut a lot of things out to the point where it just doesn't seem, because when the prison, in this episode the prison falls and they, and it's they lose their home and it is a big deal.
Herschel
but
dies.
That's it. It's Herschel's dead and I mean, how old was he? Yes, it's sad that he's dead. Yeah, it's yes, it's sad that he's dead, but he's very old. I don't think it has the same significance. And even just in the comics, it was Tyrese who he killed and not Herschel. Even if it had been someone else, it wouldn't have, to Rick, it wouldn't have the significance.
In 2018, the actor who played Herschel died. Does that make you feel better? Okay, so the actor was 76 when he died.
Oh, okay. So assuming the character is, correlates with the actor. So this would be
early to mid
2014. So yeah, this would be 2013, 14, something like that.
And he died in 2018.
Yeah, so that's pretty old. I mean, especially for this post-apocalyptic situation. Man, so did he father Beth when he was 60 years old?
Yeah, because Beth is 15 maybe?
So, I mean, yeah, she's something like that.
Yeah, and so Herschel's, I'm just going to say he's 72 here.
Yeah,
and
Jesus. Yeah, he was old, okay.
Who did you get to sleep with you, Herschel, that
was
fertile enough to bear you a child?
Because I don't think they ever give any details on his wife.
He must have already been pretty old when he had
Maggie. Yeah, she's probably 20, early 20s or something,
Yeah, he was mid 40s.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
Because he was supposed to have been a drunk and a degenerate for most of his. I mean, I don't know if it was most of his life, but for a lot of his life. And
before he met their mom.
And then he was pretty old. So I think so he probably was 40 or something.
In this universe, Maggie and Beth have the same mom also.
I believe so.
Okay, I think you're right. Man, she must have been really young when they met and then had Maggie.
Yeah.
And then just like waited. And she was still like pretty young.
Yeah, it's like, so I guess it must have been unplanned.
Yeah.
With Beth, because otherwise, like, one or both of the parents should have been like, look, do we want to have a, like, it's like, Herschel, you're already, like, you have already got,
listen,
like,
Herschel,
all these age-related ailments.
Like, I'm pretty sure you could probably perform an abortion if they really wanted to.
Wait, who?
Herschel. Because he's a vet.
Right. Wait, why would they want to?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, because they're both so old. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm just saying they have options.
I mean, I guess what I was saying is that it must have been unplanned, because otherwise you would think they wouldn't wait like 10 years or however long in between children when Herschel's like really old already. Yeah. Right. So just like, it must have been like, oh, okay, she's pregnant, it must have been.
Okay, so this story I'm forming in my head is that Herschel's like 45 years old and meets this 20-something. Okay. And she just totally turns his life upside down, and she gets pregnant very fast, and that's Maggie. And so then he sobers up, creates his vet practice, they have their house.
He buys Otis and what was her name? Patricia? I think so, yeah. He gets them and locks them in his basement and like makes them, because he can do veterinary stuff, but geez, could he like, let's say when he's like 50 or something, could he really have been doing that much work around the farm? Right. I think he would need, he would need their help. Oh, well, he wasn't a drunk at that point.
Oh, so that
because like he got sober.
You're right.
I think he got, I don't know. I don't exactly remember. I feel like he got sober when he met his wife. So, something like that.
Well, it's a family farm, so I kind of thought he just had the farm.
Oh, well, because that makes sense. From what I remember, though, is that he said that he left and was a drunk or whatever, and then until his father died, and then he went back and took over the farm. Okay. And so I guess that is not necessarily the same time he met his wife. But I think it was supposed to have been,
that makes sense,
fairly, I think he
turned his life around, and
right, and so part of it was like going back to the farm, and
okay, that makes sense. And so then they wait 10 years, and so at this point his wife is 30 something and he's 50 something
when Beth is born, something like that.
Man.
Well, no, wouldn't he be? Yeah, he late 50s.
Late 50s, yeah.
Assuming Beth is around 15. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
I guess it would have been even. Maybe that's part of why they didn't have the young twins. Because in the comics, Herschel does not look he's like a middle-aged man. He's not an old man in the comics. So it's way more frankly the timeline makes more sense because he's not this old elderly man. Right. He's just a middle-aged.
Okay.
Maybe late 50s or something. He's getting kind of older, but
okay. Well, that's...
Well, so then let's see. So then how what were we talking about before we got sidetracked by... We were talking... Oh, okay, so then... Oh, okay. So it would have been more emotionally resonant if Judith and Lori were killed in the governor's attack, because as it stands on the show, other than Rick thinking that Judith is dead... And just the, losing their home and stuff. Other than that, there's no lasting, because then it's oh, Judith is alive.
Right.
And so it's just oh, okay. It sucks that the prison, that we got kicked out of the prison, but Herschel's the only one who's dead.
That's true.
And it's just okay, that's sad, because Rick did look up to Herschel. He did, he was attached to Herschel. Right. So it is sad
And of course,
but it's
sad
nowhere
for Matt
near the
being
same.
bad.
Right. But it's nowhere near the same kind of.
Yeah, agreed.
Like if Rick felt responsible for, like, you know, because if Judith actually was dead, if Laurie was killed, you know, if he felt responsible for that because he didn't stop the governor, because like that would have just made the whole thing a lot more dramatic. It would have made it more meaningful over the whole life of the series. It would have made it more like a pivotal thing. That
Like a lot of character development and change.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
just
sense.
like in the comics and the books, the whole arc with the governor is a lot more important, I think, because it's a lot more impactful than in the series. So then Carl and Rick are like
leaving.
Rick's like, we got to get out of here. Like it's, you know, just don't look back.
Right.
Like they're just leaving the prison, and all the walkers are just going in, and that's pretty much the end of that episode.